While listening to this parable of the forgiven father today, we can also learn not just from the father, not just from any other thing that Jesus said that, but from the prodigal son himself. The stages of a converted soul. First of all, generally we are not used to quoting philosophers, but permit me to quote today Socrates, who said, "An unexamined life is not worth living." So sometimes, if you don't ask yourself that question, you will continue making mistakes. Jesus is telling us today that at a point in time, you need to sit down. It can be your evening meditation, it can be your weekly meditation, it can be your monthly meditation. Take time, ask yourself, how am I going? Here we're talking of our spirituality, we're talking of sin and good. So you can ask yourself, how is my evolution, my spiritual evolution? Am I going in the right direction? Is my spirituality where it's supposed to be? Am I in good relationship with God? You can also do that in your business. You can do it maybe in your studies. But today we are talking of our spirituality. You ask yourself questions. Then the second level is being honest to self. Telling yourself, here I have made mistake. There I have made mistake. I have committed a sin here. I have separated myself from God here. I have done this, which separated me from God and from the church. That is sin. That's the second level. Being objective, telling yourself that you have committed a sin. That's what the prodigal son did. Things were not going well. He stopped. He asked himself a question. He interrogated himself. Look at my father's servants. And after that, he realized I made a mistake. And then the third level is resolution, decision. Decision to move away from that sin. Decision to make reparation. Decision to convert, the decision to repentance. I need to move away from this type of life. He said, I have to rise, go back to my father. He formulated what he was going to tell his father. And then the fourth one is action. Theory without action is useless. He thought these things within himself. He took his decision. He prepared himself. Then he moved. Action here means that I push away my pride. I go back to God. I bow down and I tell God, I have sinned against you. Action here means that I go back to the person that I have offended and say, I'm sorry for what I said yesterday. I am sorry for the way I responded to you yesterday. I am sorry for this. I am sorry for that. That is action. Something must change. You must make a movement. And then when the right actions are taken, the last step, the fifth one, is consistency. When you move away from temptation, when you move away from sin, there is also tendency that temptation will grow. Temptation will become much. There will be this tendency of going back to that sin. Your old life will haunt you. But consistency means being firm to my decision, being firm to my resolution, standing firm and not looking back towards that sin again. Consistency here means that I move away from those situations. I no longer tolerate the situation that pushed me down to that sin. Consistency here means that I move away from those friends, from those people that pushed me into that sin. Consistency here means that I move away from that fake and destructive comfort zone that sin has created for me. That is consistency. Because it will be coming back, the temptation will be coming back. You remain firm, you remain consistent in your position. And when you do all these things, one thing is certain: the Father has already forgiven us. He's waiting for us to come back to Him. And when we return to Him, He ratifies His forgiveness. And that's why for us Catholics, we need to go to confession. When we go to confession, the priest declares the forgiveness of God. He ratifies it. And then he reconciles us with God and with the church. Because when we sin, we separate ourselves from God and from the church. And then when we are forgiven, the priest standing in the position of God and the church, he reconciles us both to God and the church. Dearly beloved, if I have given these 5 stages, It is for us to ask ourselves, where are we? Some of us, we are capable of meditating and telling ourselves something is wrong. Some of us, we are capable of taking decisions. But the difficulty is the action. Moving away from that sin. Taking that bold step of moving. Taking that bold step of asking our neighbor for forgiveness. Taking that bold decision of going to confession. Some people are ashamed of confessing their sins. They said, how can I confess before an ordinary human being? Where am I in my journey towards repentance?